Morning guys, Mon here. Today we want to take a look at shields, sword and shields to be precise. And these are a little bit more complex than, let's say, rune cannons, but I have learned to love them recently, and well, we'll take a look at what makes shields as good as they actually are. So first of all, let's take a quick look of what exactly we are talking today about. So we will talk about the subclass of the shield. We will talk about how the shield works with the latent power, how the aligned gear bonuses of the offensive, like the offensive shields at the top and the defensive shields at the bottom row, align, and how they work well with different kinds of accessories and stuff. We will look into combos, which for shields is actually quite a big part, because shields have a lot of combos and very strong and very different combos you can work out. And then we will take a look at all the different weapon abilities from all of the swords and shields. But let's start out with the basics, the subclass Guardian. So the Guardian is, well, wielding a sword and a shield, and he can attack with both. The sword is the light attack, the shield is the heavy attack. The sword is a little bit faster and deals health damage. The shield is a bit slower and deals, while also dealing health damage, a lot of break damage in addition. Then you have a full block that while blocking you cannot attack, but you can release the block and then attack for a normal attack. Or you can counter attack when an enemy is actually hitting you. That much about the subclass. There isn't really much more about that. You take pretty low stamina damage when full blocking, so you can take a lot of hits there. But let's talk about the latent power. The latent power meter is fitting up by hitting enemies or by blocking enemies, both work. And then you can use either a block counter, a shield slam, a combo slam, a heavy air slam, pretty much anything shield slam related, to bank the pip and get your weapon ability ready. The weapon ability of course depends on the weapon, and we will take a look at those later on. So let's take a look at the combos. So the first combo is the 6 hit light combo, which is just 6 light hits in a row. It's a fairly long combo and rarely sees use in my opinion, except for when you just want to slash through hordes of enemies and have a lot of damage, then you can use that, it's no problem. We have the heavy combo, which is a 4 hit heavy combo. It takes a lot of time, but deals a lot of break damage and overall is, well, kinda heavy. But also same with the normal light combo. This is a fairly slow combo that deals okayish damage and will get used rarely in its entirety. Then you have the shield slam, who can hold heavy attack for a slam attack, and that will deal a lot of break damage in a quite big AoE. And then you have mixed combos, because you can mix and match your combos as you like, and the points where you activate your different combos change how the combo executes. For example, if you do 3 lights and then heavy, you will do 3 lights into a heavy slam. If you do 2 lights, you will do 2 heavies after to finish a 4 hit combo. So there's a lot of different combos. However, you can at any point in time finish a combo with a hold heavy slam. So that leads us to the fast combo, which is the 1 light attack into shield slam, which is the fastest combo in the game, and you can get a lot of stuff ready, like Kairos first ability stacks. You can get Wingrave first ability stacks, or cooldown reset more precisely. And this is the fastest normal combo in the game, but we can go one step further with the very fast combo, which is a cancel combo. You do 1 light attack into a shield slam, cancel the shield slam after it occurs with a block, but you only tap the block to then instantly start the combo again. This is a fairly difficult combo to get used to and to use like to great effect in fights and everything, but it is extremely worth, because it's like so much faster than any other combo in the game, and you can have great effect of cooldown resets, of damage, and it's just very strong combo. So this is one you want to learn if you are running Sword and Shield. But enough of that, let's take a look at the aligned gear bonuses of the offensive shields, because there is 3 very offensive shields and 4 very defensive shields. How shields are offensive and defensive depends on how many offensive stats and defensive stats they have and how high the weighting for a stat is. I haven't written all that down here precisely, I've just made the math in the background, and then here we are. So the offensive shields are the Grim Harvest, the Tooth and Claw, and the Radiant Dawn. For the Grim Harvest, you can see it's a pretty decent weapon power and physical def stacker, because you have those in a discipline tree. However, you do not really have any health on this shield, which makes it kinda weird for for defensive capabilities. However, you can use either discipline or focus as like your primary for damage, and then go with instinct as secondary due to the crit rating and resilience, both decent stats. However, weapon power here should be better. Then we can take a look at Tooth and Claw. Tooth and Claw has pretty decent weapon primary on the instinct. It does, however, need to go focus then for secondary, because it's kind of bad to go with crit power in your primary and then not have crit rating. So if you do that, you miss out max health. So actually it might be a pretty good option to just go full hybrid here, put points into instinct, discipline, and focus depending on your perks. Then we can take a look at the Radiant Dawn. The Radiant Dawn is in a very weird spot, because it has 5 offensive stats, but all of these are in the mid-tier rating. This has a very balanced alignment for everything, but doesn't really do anything really good. So this might just be a decent all-rounder if you, I don't know, want to do something. So yeah, let's take a look at the defensive shields, because I, in my opinion, like those a lot more, aside from Tooth and Claw. Tooth and Claw is a very strong shield, but let's take a look. So we've got the Legacy, Vanguard, Warp and Weft, and the Bastion, of which actually Bastion is just my personal favorite, but we'll talk about that in a second. We'll take a look at Legacy for now first. It actually is a very good option for AP mage tanks. You can use those on like Kairos and Nis and the upcoming Arcanist for 1.0. And that's pretty much its primary use, because you gain mag defense and max health on discipline, which is a good tank primary. You get ability power and crit power on instinct, which is okayish, but again, this shield gives crit power but no crit rating, so you will need a lot of crit rating somewhere else to make the crit power actually worth. So you might also go with discipline primary and then focus secondary for a weapon power focused tank approach, but the Legacy does not have physical defense, which makes it kind of weird for physical or for weapon power users, because those usually want to stack physical defense over magical defense due to passives and stuff. But yeah, it's a kind of a weird spot, the Legacy, but yeah, you will find a use for it if you want. Then we have the Vanguard. The Vanguard just is a pretty good all-rounder. It does everything and everything a bit off. So you have instinct with a very good secondary. You have the discipline, which is a pretty good weapon power primary. And you have focus, which is a pretty damn good AP primary due to ability power and max health, going with physical defense and crit rating. And the instinct is just a very strong combination. For the Warp and Weft, it's just a very weird strong all-rounder. It's just somewhat decent at everything, pretty much the exact same stats as Vanguard, just switched in their positions. So if you just want a different setup with other alignment gear bonuses or other perks, Warp and Weft and Vanguard just are interchangeable on different alignment slots. Then we have the Bastion, which in my opinion is by far the strongest shield. Has the best weapon ability for sustain, and the stats are just enormous. You can go with instinct and discipline for a very strong tank AP approach. You can go with Focus, Discipline, Wolf for a very strong weapon power focus tank break approach, though missing some health there, or you can just spread your stats out and play a very strong hybrid. So Bastion just is good for pretty much anything, and yeah, we'll see why in another video about tank Kairos. But yeah, let's take a look at the weapons themselves. So first of all, we do have Grim Harvest, which has the Bone Geyser weapon ability. After getting your pipes up, or your pips, you can create a small AoE that deals decent break damage. However, I personally am not a big fan of the ability, because even though it can deal some break damage, there is way better shields for breaking enemies, because the Grim Harvest itself does not have break damage. Also, it does not stagger bosses that are like trying to hit you, so it doesn't actually work as a cancel or anything. So I don't really see much of a spot for the Harvest, sadly. Tooth and Claw, however, is an extremely strong shield if you just want raw damage, because the Shredder Toss just can clear enemies very quickly or be a beast in single target, because the shield you're throwing can multi-hit a single enemy and just hit it like 6 or 7 times, I believe. So it just deals tons of damage onto one enemy. Then we've got the Radiant Dawn, which just empowers you pretty much on the weapon ability, and also can be kept empowered most of the time if you keep attacking. So this can be pretty much up all the time. It's a very good option if you want to block a lot, because the block is a lot cheaper while it is active. The range isn't really noticeable all that much, but the power up for hits is noticeable, say. Then we've got the Legacy. The Legacy just gives a big shield for you and your party members, which in fight depletes fairly quickly, but is just a nice defensive boost if you want to tank some stuff or brute force the face of a boss, for example. Then we've got the Vanguard, which is, well, pretty much the better breaker in here. Even though it does not have break itself, the Power Bash deals a ton of break damage. Though you would want to use the pips one by one. You want to generate one pip, use it for break, and generate another one, because this one works much better when going one by one, because the total damage of 3 pips is a lot less than 3 single Power Bashes. So you want to use this all the time and not just like getting up to 3. Then we take a look at Warp and Weft, which in my opinion is one of the weirdest shields, because it actually is a nice AP shield, but does struggle with dealing damage with the weapon ability, because it just doesn't hit great. It can clear big waves of enemies fairly well on characters that don't have great, well, like wave clear or enemy clear, but for single target this one is just not suited. Just doesn't deal enough damage for that. Then we've got the Bastion, which, as I said, pretty much is the best shield in my opinion. It has the best stats, and the hitting pulse is just very strong. In party play you can just like put 2 to 3k heals out fairly easily with the weapon ability. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. If you have any questions about anything, about shields, swords, Wayfinders or other weapons, just write them down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next time.